Do you guys want to sit at the front? Because I see there are a lot of empty chairs. I don't like talking to empty chairs. Do you guys want to come forward a little bit?
Sure.
I invite you guys to come forward. If you don't want to, stay where you are.
This is going to be live coding, so we need like a lot of device. Because we're probably going to do
Yeah, this is the only slide I made. So the rest of the talk is going to be live coding. I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, recreating Vue's reactivity system is a very powerful topic, but actually we're not doing that. We're just creating a very simplified version of it, and a very buggy version with a lot of incompleteness in there. But hopefully it will bring some new ideas to you and you'll enjoy it. So cool. So I've got this set up here. I've got this code which has nothing in there, and I've got this repo set up, and in the package.json we've got the usual, and we've got the Vue dependencies for now. I want to show compare Vue's reactivity hooks with what we're going to create. So that's pretty much the repo. So let's hack on then. So do you guys all familiar with Vue Free's reactivity APIs, like the reactive ref? Yeah, cool. So let's start with that then. So in Vue we have reactive, which allow you to create a reactive object. So say we have a counter reactive where it has an x from 0, and what it does is it adds something. What it returns is some magical object where whenever you change the value of x, Vue will know, and it keeps track of the dependencies, right? So the way it do it is we can also use this watch effect function, which takes in a function, and it would execute that function immediately and track whatever reactive value it has accessed. So for example, here we can do console log counter.x. So by doing that, Vue will know, oh, this effect here depends on counter.x, right? Pretty simple. And if we do a set interval, every second, let's increment the counter by 1. And with this code, what we'll expect to see is every second it will log 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So let's run that. So you can see every second is doing that. Is it too small? Is this better? Yeah. So is there any question? Is there any questions so far? No? All good? Cool. So let's try to recreate this. So today's aim is just to recreate the reactive and watch effect and more. So let's do that. Yeah. So let's create a file, reactivity.js. And in here, we'll just export the two functions, reactive and the watch effect. Cool. And from the main, what we'll do is just import the reactivity from our file. And now the function will just break, right? Because we haven't implemented it. So let's do that. So let's start with reactive. Do you guys know what Vue Free's reactive is built on top of? Have you guys heard about proxies? Yes. So proxy is a construct in JavaScript where you can sort of hook into an object. So when you create a proxy, you can sort of set some traps for any operations you do to the object. So for example here, there's a proxy aiming at this target here, and the handler is the traps. So whenever you get some property from this proxy object, it will run this code. Yeah. So similarly, we can do the same for set and a bunch of other things you can do with proxies. But today we'll just focus on get and set. So let's do that. Let's use proxy. I should stop this before it explodes. So let's do that. So we know that we will use proxy, right? So the target should be reactive takes in a initial object, and we'll use that as a target. And the trap for this proxy, for now, let's just create a very simple trap which just mimic what an object would do, right? So it would, for the get method, it will take in the target, which is the initial object that we pass in, the key, the prop that we are getting, and that's it. So in here, we can just return target key. Pretty simple. And then for the set trap, it takes in the target, the key, and a new value. And what we'll do is just to set the target key to the new value. And we'll have to return true to tell JavaScript that, oh, the setting has been done. So now we have created reactive, which is not very reactive. It's just an object wrapper with this definition, but we'll add on to it later. So in watch effect, what it will do is it will take in some function, some callback, and basically it will just run the callback, right? It will just call the callback, and with some magic, somehow we will know the dependencies of that callback. So let's say we have that. So let's do that first, because so how could we track the dependencies, right? So by calling this callback, how would we know what values does this callback depend on? So the magic comes in the proxy, because all the reactive values will come through the proxy. So when this callback gets some value from some reactive object, we can sort of keep track of them. So when we get some key from this object, what we can do is have this. Let's have a dependency variable, which is a set. A set because we don't want to duplicate the dependencies. There's no point. And in here, let's do a very simple adding the key to the dependencies. So because each key in an object are unique, so this is fine. But although two objects can have the same key, so that's a problem to solve later. For now, let's assume that there's just one reactive object that we're going to use. So key is perfectly fine in this case. So with this, after running this callback, whatever reactive value is accessed will be in the set, right? So what we can do is loop through the dependency and do something to it. What should we do? So what we want to achieve is when those dependencies are updated, we want to call this callback again, right? So recall what we had in main.js. So this is the callback, right? So whenever counter.x is changed, this callback should be rerun, right? So we need some sort of a map from dependency to a bunch of callbacks, because you can call watch effect multiple times, and one dependency can refer to multiple callbacks. Yeah. So let's create that map. So we can do like something like a dependency to callbacks map. So what we do here, we can just add each of the dependencies to the map. So we can do like dependency to callbacks set deb, and because we need a bunch of callbacks, it's not just one callback. One dependency refers to multiple callbacks. So perhaps it makes sense to use a set again. So here, so what I will do actually, you know what? I'll just get the callbacks from this map. And it might be empty, right? So let's default it with new set. And once we've got this set, we can do like callbacks dot add callback. So we're adding this callback into this callback set. Yeah. Is there any question? Is everyone following? No? Okay. Cool. And then we can just set this callback back to this map. So now we have created a map from dependencies. Currently, the dependencies are the keys to a set of callbacks. Make sense? Is there any questions? No? Okay. Cool.
Let's see if it works.
So we're missing one more step. The step that we're missing is when do we trigger those callbacks, right? So now we have a bunch of dependencies referring to a bunch of callbacks. So we need to trigger them somehow. So we want to trigger these callbacks when the dependency updates, right? So the updating happens in the set hook. So when a value is set, after setting, we can just simply, get the callbacks from this map key. And it might be empty again, so let's default it to new set and store it somewhere. And we can just loop through the callback and call them. Yeah.
Sounds simple.
Yeah, super simple, right? So there's one thing I forgot is here, because at every time you call watch effect, we want to clear, because here we depend on some global variable, module scoped variable. So we should clear the dependencies set. So let's do that. Cool. So now we have the reactive and watch effect. Yeah. Questions? No? Okay. Should we run it and see if it works? I hope it works. I'm so scared. Okay. Hopefully it works. So how will we know if it works? If it prints out 0, 1, 2, 3 every second, that means it kind of works, right? I hope there's no error. Woo! It works! How nice is that? So with just 15 minutes we've recreated reactive and watch effect. So yeah, let's commit first, in case I mess up later. Cool. So next, we talk about this problem that we mentioned, where the dependencies currently are just strings representing the key of an object. So what happens when you have two objects with the same key? Let's check it out. Let's try. So if we have a counter 2, right, with the same prop x, and if the counter 2 increments every half a second, guess what will happen? Let's try that. Oh.
In Reactivity.js.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the callback.
Oh, great. That was intentional to test that you're actually watching. Awesome. Cool. You saved me from seeing errors. Great. Okay, let's see what will happen. So what we expect to happen is the output shouldn't change, right? It should still print the counter x every second. But then what we end up with is multiple prints of the counter.x. So why is that? It's because we use the same key name. So for every second, this interval updates the counter2.x twice for every second. And this interval updates counter.x once. So that makes every number printing 3 times every second. Yeah? So that makes sense. Cool. So now we know why it's happening. Let's fix it. So to fix this, what we can do is, do you guys have any ideas how we can fix this? Any ideas? Let's debug this together. No? Okay.
We need to put the target.
Hmm?
When you think of the target, like just different, yeah.
So, okay, here's an idea. So what we can do is, so each object can only have like unique keys, right? So for the same reactive object, each property are considered like unique, right? So what we can do is, for each object, when we access a particular key, generate some random ID so that it is global, so that it wouldn't interfere with the other object with the same key. But an even better version, instead of a random ID, we can use the primitive symbol. So let's try this. So let's imagine a function called get dependency symbol for key. So this function here is scoped to a single reactive. So each reactive will have its own get dependency symbol for key. So if two reactive objects share the same key, they will generate a different symbol. Is everyone familiar with the idea of symbol? Yeah, cool. Okay, so here we'll take in the key, and it will somehow create a symbol. And let's use that in here when we interact with the dependency set. And also here. Because the dependency set will be used to populate dependency to callbacks. So the keys of the dependency to callbacks map will become the symbol. So we can do the same here. Something like that. Cool. So to implement this is pretty simple. We just need another map, key to symbol. And if the key to symbol has that key, then it's simple. We just return the symbol, right? If it doesn't, then we can just create a new symbol. And set the key to symbol, set a new entry for key to symbol map with the key as the key and the symbol as the value. And then we can just return the symbol here. We can simplify this by just doing, I think, something like this. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, cool. So with this, hopefully now the dependencies are all symbols, and the symbols are unique to each reactive. So even two objects with the same key would have their own unique symbol. And this should hopefully solve the problem. And let's see. So we should expect to see the counter.x get print every second and not 3 times a second. Hopefully it works. It works. So yeah. Yeah. So I think I've got like 4 more minutes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's quickly like hack through the rest of it. This is the hardest part. Cool. So now with the reactive sort of and the watch effect sort of done, there are still flaws in there. I would mention it at the end, but see if we can spot any. But for now, it's good enough. So let's hack on, and in Vue, there's another partner with like there's a pair of function where you can create reactive things. One is reactive, the other one is ref. And what ref does is instead of passing in an object, you can pass in any primitive value, and what it will return is just a value 0, something like that, right? A reactive object that has a value pointer to things. And to implement that is pretty simple. we just take the initial value and and return a reactive object with the value, initial value. And that's pretty much it. Of course, in Vue, like, it makes it read-only as well, which can be easily done with proxy as well. You know, whenever you set, you can just throw errors and avoid people from changing it. You know, it's pretty simple. Too simple, I wouldn't implement here. Next, now we have ref. So to interact with ref, we can do like this, right? So just to prove that it works, we'll print some stuff. So here, I think hopefully we'll be seeing, let's be more clear on this, counter. Something like this. Let's see what will happen. Yeah, so you see counter 2 is getting print twice a second, and counter is only print once every second. Yeah, so ref works as well. Woo! Okay, so next, what about computed, right? So say we have a double variable, computed. So computed takes in a function that will create computed value, derived value. Yeah. So let's say double is counter.x times 2. Right. So supposedly this will return a ref where the value is counter x times 2, always. So how should we do this, right? So one way we can do this is when given the function to get, let's call it get value. So we can have a ref without any initial value, so it will be undefined, and return that ref. And what we want to do is, so the get value function would basically call into the dependencies, right? So we can do some interesting things here by doing watch effect and call get value here. This makes this effect to run every time the dependency changes. And with the value, we can set our dot value to get value. This is not how Vue's computed work, by the way, because Vue's computed is lazy, so it only computes it when you retrieve it. But this sort of does the work. Like whenever you update the dependencies, this get value will get called. Kind of okay for our use case. So if we print, let's create another watch effect. Double value. Hopefully this works. Haven't imported that. Yeah, so you see, double get print with the counter. If I stop it, so double is 14 and the counter is 7. Woo! Thanks. And bye. This is my talk. And you can, if you're interested, there's actually one more slide I lied just now. If you're interested, you can follow me on GitHub, follow me on Twitter, or follow me on YouTube, or follow me, or give this repo a star. I just pushed what we did just now to that repo, and I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah. Bye.